Perkies, the best backless bras and undies in the game. Rosie, the 25-year-old female founder, had enough subpar experiences with sticky bras and decided to create a better one. For those who don't know what those are, they're backless, strapless bras that stick directly to a woman's breast to give shape and support without the straps showing. Current sticky bras lose their stick after a few wears, get dirty easily, and all too often fall off when you least expect it. This is why Rosie created the only sticky bra on the market with replacement adhesives. Clean, confident, and comfortable. Perkies is the future of sticky bras. Since the launch, Perkies has added reusable covers, 3 shades of nude, and Perkies panties, seamless underwear, the softest underwear in the game, to its line. Whether it's a wedding, cocktail party, a date night, you name it, your top will typically require a non-traditional bra, and this is why Perkies has you covered. Check out these Perkies products on Perkies.com. That's Perkies.com. Perkies.com.
With the new year coming in quick, let's take a minute to talk about New Year's resolution.
Perfect. What are some of yours, Nate?
Well, for me, the biggest thing is going to be losing weight and is taking better care of myself. One of the biggest challenges, and that is to quit smoking. If you're looking to quit smoking, we've discovered a new product called Nin pouches, which are exactly 100% tobacco-free.
100% tobacco-free, huh? How does that work? And how do those help you quit smoking?
Unlike other nicotine pouches, which are made from generic tobacco-derived nicotine, Nin pouches are made of 100% tobacco-free nicotine. Also, they're smoke-free, non-combustible, discreet, and simple. In other words, they help you provide the nicotine buzz you crave without any smoke or harmful tobacco components.
Ah, I get it. So let's say you're at the gym with the kids or out in public and can't smoke a cigarette. That's where Nin pouches come in, huh?
Exactly, Mike. Plus, they taste great and are available in 2 nicotine strengths, 3 milligrams and 6 milligrams, in 5 unique flavors: cinnamon, citrus, chill, cool mint, spearmint, and wintergreen.
That's awesome. That sounds like they provide a great solution for those looking to quit smoking. I actually have a few buddies I could recommend these to. What's the website?
I've actually got the website pulled up right here. Pretty snazzy looking site, if I say so myself. It is www.ninpouches.com. That's www.ninpouches.com. You can shop the whole selection of Nin pouches here and enjoy fast, free shipping on all orders above $40.
Perfect. That sounds awesome. I'd even try to get some of those myself.
Hey, you do you, Mike. Be sure to use our exclusive coupon code when you do that, though, at TechTime20 to save 20% off your entire order of Nin pouches. Again, that's TechTime20 to save 20% off your entire order. Just visit www.ninpouches.com. That's N-I-I-N pouches.com to shop all of your selection. And tell them Nathan sent you. People say puffiness and bags under the eyes are the hardest things to get rid of. Until now. Introducing Genucell. Plant stem cell therapy specifically targeting eye puffiness and bags. Due to new technology, Genucell is an incredible, powerful natural serum, and with its immediate effects, is guaranteed to show results in as little as 12 hours, or your money back. That's right, users saw results in only 12 hours with a dramatic improvement in 2 weeks. A true Chamonix classic, Genucell for under eye bags and puffiness contains 8 extra ingredients to significantly reduce the appearance of bags and puffiness. Plus, it uses patented plant stem cell technology to improve longevity and brilliant long-term results. Now you can try Genucell for under eye bags absolutely risk-free. Say goodbye to puffiness and bags today. Go to lovegenucell.com right now and save over 60% off their most popular package. Enter my promo code TECH10, TECH10. for an extra 10% off your order. That's right, 10% off your order. LoveGenucell.com is waiting for you. That's love, GENUCEL.com.
Coming to you from the shores of the Pacific Northwest, keeping you up to date on technology while enjoying a little whiskey on the side, with leading-edge topics, along with special guests, to navigate technology in a segmented, stylized radio program. The information that will make you go, Pull up a seat, raise a glass with our hosts as we spend the next hour talking about technology for the common person. Welcome to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm.
Welcome to Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, the show that makes you go, technology news of the week. The show for the everyday common person with insightful segments on subjects weeks ahead of the mainstream media. I'm Nathan Mumm, and welcome to our show as we live stream in studio Saturdays from 4 to 6 p.m. This is a special episode, so we've had a little bit of a pre-recording at Studio 6 in Seattle, and we are broadcasting it to you. Of course, we're live Saturdays from 4 to 6 p.m. You can always check us on YouTube, Facebook, or twitch.tv/TechTime Show. And of course, always at our home radio station, KKNW 1150 AM. If you're not listening or watching our show on Saturday afternoons, then you are definitely getting a rebroadcast. So go to techtimeradio.com to stay up on all of your latest information regarding technology. All right, Tech Time is a 2-hour show that talks about current technology in a simple format without having to geek out. You can always watch our live streams, purchase merchandise, our NFTs, and listen and watch archives again at techtimeradio.com. Now it's time to engage us on twitch.tv/TechTime Show, or you can interact with us on Twitter at #TechTimeRadio. You can also call 425-373-5527 or 188-298-KKNW to be part of the show. All right, David, let's start today's show.
Now on today's show.
On today's show of Tech Time with Nathan Mumm, this is our Christmas Day special. Instead of Mike and I joining you in studio, we are essentially going and taking a look at our 2021 year, and we've pulled out the best articles, interviews, and segments and put them together in this 2-hour program. So sit back, raise a glass, and welcome to Tech Time Radio Hour 1. Of course, we'll be drinking our whiskey that was our 2021 pick of the year, which is the Screwball Whiskey. We are excited to start our first interview with Eric Hunley, host of the Unstructured Podcast. And our second interview is with Robbie Cabral, the founder of Benjilock, and Kim Kelly of Hampton Products from the ABC hit show Shark Tank. Let's start our first interview now.
Welcome back to Tech Time. This is the river dance music. I know, I do it just to make you smile. That's right. Welcome back to Tech Time Radio. I'm your host, Nathan Mumm. We got Mike Corday here, David Brown behind the board. Now, let's talk about our whiskey. What do you think about it during the break? It's smooth.
Should I say I'm going to give it a thumbs up?
No,
if
don't
I'm
say
not
yet.
Give it a thumbs up?
We got to wait till the very end of the show. That's the
Well,
mystery.
I'm not giving it a thumbs up.
Okay, all right.
Obviously, somebody's celebrating already.
That's all right. Thank you, David. All right, so we are going to have an expert come on. This is an expert that I got to listen to on Podfest a few weeks back. Great listener. We're excited to have him on the show. Oh, that's right. You want to talk about that first. We were going to talk about that. So you got a sticker on your vest. Before we go to our guest, did you get vaccinated today?
Yeah, I got my vaccination.
You got your vaccination shot?
Yeah, you wanted to talk about it.
I did want to talk about it.
You
Because
were like,
I
what's
go
that sticker on your chest?
I go and get my second vaccination shot tomorrow morning. So
yeah, I got my vaccination today.
Good job. Everybody should go out there and get vaccinated so we can get this America back on the running roads that it used to be a part of. All right. So our guest we have here is originally from Tucson, Arizona.
Ooh.
Mike, your home state.
That's my home state.
Served in the U.S. Army at Fort Story, Virginia, and currently resides in Hampton, Virginia since 2004. We are pleased to have Eric join us on Tech Time Radio. So if you want to bring Eric on up. There's also a couple other things that essentially Eric has worked on. He has his own podcast that he is an interview podcast savant. You see that big word there? That's a big.
You pronounced it.
I did. I even got it right too after some whiskey. So that's even twice as better. All right. So he is joining us on our Ask the Expert segment.
Wow.
This is a segment we call Ask the Experts.
All right. So, Eric, first thing I'm going to ask, Eric Hunley, the host of the Unstructured Podcast. You can find out more at unstructuredpod.com. Consider listening to his podcasts. Are great interviews with lots of people that he's had, from military veterans to some spy guys that were on there. Fantastic. Now, Eric, the host of the show, he's married. He's got a wife. He's an influencer. He's good at reading body language, negotiations. But the most important thing is Eric, did you know that you were breached on NetGallery in December 2020 that exposed 1.4 million unique email addresses, along with your username, password, physical IP address, and phone number, date of birth, and password that is stored in a salted SH1 hash that are able to be purchased on the dark web Tor site, available for $15.
Really?
Yep. I did my research of Eric. Did you know that just happened to you, Eric?
Only one.
Oh,
So I'm one of, what,
you only
33
have
million
one
or something?
breach. There's only one breach that I can find. And let me tell you, I spent hours trying to find more breaches.
I'm thinking that when he says you need to get to know the person, it's not what you're trying to find
dude,
out.
I did lots. I spent time finding all about Eric, and Eric is also a big runner. So we got lots of questions. Question number one, before we even get into YouTube.
How long did you live in Tucson?
Well, no. Okay. Do you want to ask him that? How long did you live in Tucson? There you go. We can ask that first.
I lived my first 18 years in Tucson, and then I lived for a few more years in about 2002 through 2004 time range.
Okay.
Very nice.
So what was your first Here's the most important. What's your first operating system that you ever used on your computer? Because you're a technology guy also. So that you started out. What was your first operating system?
I don't know if it was a variant of DOS. I had an XT, which was like a sewing machine. It was an old compact and weighed like 20 pounds. And I was fortunate enough to have two 5 1/4 floppy drives.
Oh, that was the style then. That's right.
Yeah, I remember the compact.
I had a Xenix. It was only like 95% IBM compatible, so I had to have PC DOS 4.2. So were you back there? Do you remember the whole stacker days when you could double your hard drive space back when that came on out? You doubled your hard drive. It was Drive Space, Microsoft competitor, and Stacker was the competitor to that. Do you remember those, Eric?
No, I missed that part. I wasn't fortunate enough to have a hard drive until a few years later. I was in the Army and didn't really have much computing-wise.
Okay.
And then Microsoft 95 came out, Windows 95, etc. while I was in the Army.
Okay.
So
now on your 5 1/4s, did you use the hole punch to get the double sides on both sides of those?
of course.
Okay, there you go.
That
was such a cool trick. You can flip it on the other side. I remember illegally downloading like King's Quest games. My poor wife, her dad stole King's Quest games on floppies, but she only had like disc 1, 2, and 3, and she missed disc 4. And then she had like 5 and 6 to play the game. So anytime she would go into a cave, it'd lock up and she couldn't continue because never mind. All right, so we diverge. All right.
The old perils of pirating.
All right, so you're an avid runner. You're known as the Hampton Runner. Explain a little bit about this, Eric, before we get into the big story.
Well, let me qualify. A lapsed avid runner.
You said that you were. There was just an article about you that was back in 2014 or 2017 that talked all about your journeys to that. Yep.
Sure. And I did some marathons and a 50K, but I haven't done any running for a couple of years because I've been doing podcasting and getting channels yanked off and things.
Okay, well, that's where we're going to next. This is crazy. All right, so let's talk about your story on YouTube.
Okay. I do live streams pretty much exclusively now. And I had a live stream with a company, the CEO of Zengo, which is a crypto wallet. Now, I don't know crypto very well and don't really trust it. I'm scared of it. So having a CEO on, I thought, would be a cool thing to have. And one of the things that was offered was the person who recommended him to me wanted to offer some Bitcoin as a prize, if you will. So as a private person, he was doing a prize thing through the company. And about 45 minutes into the interview, all of a sudden I got a text from a friend of mine who said, "Did they kill your stream? What happened?" And he sent a screenshot in the text. And I had no idea. So I was just kind of flabbergasted talking to the CEO. And then somebody else texted me and said, "Did they yank your channel?" And, meanwhile, I'm actually still sitting there on StreamYard, which I'm using right now, by the way, if people want to know Inside Tech.
Yep.
And I'm still recording. Everything's going on, and I'm obviously concerned. I'm like, okay, I'm not online anymore. We can't go any further. I just need to see what's happening. And I hit end show, and it was saying error. It couldn't end the show. Nothing could happen. And so then I went to look, and a minute later, I saw on my email that I had an email from Google or YouTube, sorry, saying your video was removed for violating community standards. And in the same minute, there was another email saying your channel has been removed for repeated violations of community standards. And then I had a third email that said all your members are gone because I have YouTube members for the channel.
Yep. So we did a show last week on cryptocurrency, and we talked about Ripple, and I got a warning.
We're going to get another one.
Yeah, we're probably, that's right. So I said Ripple again. So we got a warning, and they had to go and do a due diligence, and they had to spend a lot of time before it could be monetized, and a bunch of different items also regarding cryptocurrency, which I find very odd that cryptocurrency is their trigger point. So you had no idea when this was happening that there was any terms. Did YouTube reach back out to you? So I've heard your story, but did they reach back out to you and say, we're sorry, we didn't mean to delete this? What happened?
How long have you been on YouTube?
We've been on YouTube for about...
answers your question.
I know. But we have listeners that are driving around right here in the Seattle area because we also broadcast on the radio, so that's going on out there. So explain what YouTube did to rectify this for you.
Okay, to start, I put in an appeal. It took a while because I was panicking. The friend of mine who was helping me he's a giant YouTuber. And I went and clicked and I put in the appeal form.
Yep.
And I got a reply to their credit in 20 minutes. Your appeal's rejected. It was pretty much a bonk. So then my friend advised me. He said, you need to go on Twitter and make a video. You got 2 minutes, 10 seconds. Make a video about what happened and tell everybody what happened. And we went back and forth because, to be honest, I was bawling my eyes out.
Sure, I got it, because your content's all there. It's tough to get subscribers. We got like 3,000 subscribers on YouTube, and that's a lot of work to get up to more than 1,000 so you can get a bunch of different benefits that happen. So I totally get it. How many followers did you have?
I literally crossed 15,000.
Wow,
in that
huge.
episode.
Okay, huge.
But that's it's huge for me, and obviously, but I have friends who have a lot more, but it doesn't really matter. It's if it was 1,500, I'd still be pretty upset.
Yep.
But I put out the video, and essentially just said, hey, what happened, etc. And fortunately, I do have friends like Viva Fry, that's who I've been talking about this whole time, who amplified it, and they put it out. And even more importantly, they didn't only amplify it themselves, but thousands of other people also retweeted. And these are people who don't have giant accounts or giant presences. They're like real people. And not that he's not a real person, but you understand my point.
Yep. Gotcha. Yep.
Then Team YouTube, I tagged them as well.
Okay.
Texted me and said, we're looking into this. Can you give us more information? Was your channel deleted or was it hijacked? I'm like, no, you did it. And on the side, I'm telling everybody, yeah, it's hijacked by YouTube.
Yeah.
But they were saying, okay, we're investigating. We'll get back to you. And then nothing's really going on, and some tweets went back and forth, and I don't remember which, but then later on they said, we're still looking into this to get to the team who can be involved with this. Give us time. And that was several hours later. So this is like the whole thing was going down at 10:45 in the morning. So that evening they pretty much were saying, we're still looking into it, and it carried into the next day. And the next day, finally in the afternoon, they got a hold of me saying, okay, we got a hold of the internal team. And this is where I don't know, because it's so black box. I don't know what I can say, can't say. So I'm going to be very vague and opaque about it, just to make sure that there's no issues. But they got a hold of the internal team. They tweeted that out and they said, please DM us for directions. So since that's all public, I'm sure that's fine. And they DM'd me with a link to go somewhere, and I had to fill out some stuff, and we kind of went back and forth. And then the channel was brought back So before this point, keep in mind, it was not demonetized or frozen. It was vaporized. There was no channel. I had no account. I've been on Google or YouTube since like 2008 or so.
Yep.
Paying for the service, the YouTube Pro, where you could get commercial free and all that, every iteration, whether it's Red or Premiere or whatever you called it. I've been that long of a member.
Okay.
And I could not even watch videos. That account was gone.
Wow.
Everything was gone. I was sending emails to people who were getting reports that I was a spam source.
Wow.
So it went pretty deep.
It went pretty. So what advice would you tell somebody? And you told this in the Podfest event, which I thought you were a fan. You were the best speaker that I listened to for those 4 days that were in there,
Wow,
which was
thank you.
lot of great information. But you were by far my best. What was the most important question that you have? Hang on just a second. Question for Eric in the comments. Yes, question. Do you want to get that ready for us, David? So you have a couple questions that are coming in for you, Eric, and so we're going to get a couple of those questions. Question number 1. You want to read it, David?
Yeah, I'll read it. It says, Eric, would you recommend skipping the email and going straight to Twitter?
Why skip anything? I would do both, because by responding on the email, you are responding to what they're asking. That was something that I was really trying to concentrate on, was one, getting my message out to them without blaming them or pointing a finger or saying, look what, now in my privacy, I might've been saying more negative comments, but out publicly on Twitter and things like that, I don't think it can help very much if you, just start railing against them. I was more, just flat out the truth. I was yanked off. I do not understand what happened. Please help me. Everybody who knows anybody, please help me be heard.
So what is your advice now for streamers and different people? So we after that, we have worked really hard with Twitch. So now we have Twitch that's broadcasting us. So we have a couple different areas. Our tactic from your event was, okay, let me get 2 or 3 other streaming services. So if one says, hey,
I'm
I
on
don't
Twitch
like you
too
anymore.
now.
Yeah, great. Fantastic. You're on Twitch too. Great. Fantastic. So what's the advice to podcasters, to anybody that does anything on YouTube with any content? What would you tell them to be careful of, and what would you do to give them some information here to help them?
God, this is hard, because I can't guarantee what YouTube's going to react to. Like, there are certain keywords right now. One that starts with a C and happened over last year, was called a pandemic. You really shouldn't talk about, or you got to be really careful what you say.
Yep.
There was something that happened in November, a weird event, and anybody talking about it could potentially be thrown off, or they might just be demonetized. There was an event that happened in the 40s with a German guy. Norm Macdonald talks about him. And you can get thrown off for that. So it's really hard when there's a capricious nature to the people who are running it, or the algorithms that run it. So
I want to make a quick break in there. That's what does it, is the algorithm, right?
Sure.
Yep.
That's what vaporized the account, was an algorithmic response.
I assume. So I can tell you that there were tripwires, from what I understand, that crypto is a major tripwire. I did not know that, but part of why is because I never talked about crypto. So I guess there genuinely are channels being hijacked, and hijackers putting up crypto wallets and saying, hey, donate,
give us
to
money,
me,
do this.
because,
Yep.
And one of the things they do is they have contests. So I think that was a second tripwire that I did not know at the time. And because I was midstream, it's possible that it just got yanked, because I guess if, let's say, that show got shut down and I really was a hijacked channel, I could be commenting on other channels saying, go to my wallet because I'll save the world, or whatever. I don't know.
Yeah. All right. Well, Eric, we are running up against time. How can people hear more about you, and how can they subscribe to your service? Give us a little bit of information here, so our hopefully our fans that have lots of questions and lots of interest, how would they find out more about you?
Sure. YouTube.com/Eric Hunley. love to see you. I'm on all the socials as Hunley Eric. I couldn't get the other way around, but I'm out there, and I'm also on Locals, which, by the way, was really very useful in this, and that's unstructured.locals.com. And there I can post all kinds of things. I don't have to worry about being shut down. And to the credit, they were there for me when, I had nothing. So I've got to put that out.
Well, the unstructuredpod.com. Learn more about Eric. Eric, thank you very much for joining us on TechTime Radio. We're glad that you're back on YouTube and that we can learn more about your story, and hopefully that doesn't happen to anybody else broadcasting. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
When we come back from a commercial break, we will continue the best of 2021, a year in review. I'm your host, Nathan Mumm. See you after this commercial break. Hey, Mike.
What?
Have you heard of Elderberry?
Only in reference to a Monty Python movie.
Well, let me tell you, Elderberry Boost. Again, that's elderberry-boost.com.
Elderberry Boost.
Yes, Mike, that's Elderberry Boost. You can choose organic Elderberry Boost, that 8-ounce size. That's available on sale right now at $11.99. But you're listening here right now on TechTime Radio, so you need to go to Elderberry. That's ELDERBERRY-boost.com and get some today.
Elderberry Boost.
Elderberry is an all-natural organic immune system booster and antiviral. Elderberry is known to actively fight against viruses, including colds and the flu. It also works as a natural remedy for allergies, cancer, digestion, heart disease, high cholesterol, headache, toothache, weight loss, and reduced inflammation.
It's a natural and healthy diuretic and has many antiviral properties. While it is famous for fighting the flu, it is effective for any illness.
Elderberry Boost was created to provide a quality organic elderberry to their customers. After searching years ago for a perfect elderberry syrup, none could be found, so they essentially created their own homemade recipe.
If you would like to get 15% off your first order of Elderberry Boost, just put in the discount code TechTime at checkout.
Again, that's elderberry-boost.com.
Elderberry Boost.
All right, well, we are going to move on to our next segment here, and we are going to start Ask the Experts.
This is a segment we call Ask the Experts.
All right, we are very excited to have our experts joining the show. So we have two experts, not one, but we have the founder and owner of Hampton Products that is here that essentially helped Benjilock, which is Robbie Cabral's company, distribute their lock. So we're going to go in a little bit of information from this.
Fingerprint lock.
Yeah, so this is the fingerprint lock. So this has been around for a while now. Robbie was on Shark Tank, and we're going to ask him some questions about Shark Tank, just a little bit, because he's got it. That's what everybody asks him, all the Shark Tank questions.
You're not. Don't ask. Who cares about that?
Yeah, that was so. Here we go. Let me give you first, though, a little bit of a story to set the stage, so we can kind of say this.
All right,
after being laid off from work and extremely overweight, so I grabbed this from their website. So Robbie, don't kill me, because this is what you have on your website. So if you're gonna get in trouble, here's what it says. Woke up one day and decided to do better, not only for himself, but also for his family. So he started going to the gym. So first off, Robbie is a much better person than me, because I would have never gone to the gym. So you know what? I'm glad that he did that. I need to go to the gym.
I'm all for it, because I lost a lot of weight.
Okay, so good job. So he goes to the gym. He noticed people were using lockers on a daily basis, and the issues were constantly having that they would forget their combinations. I did this. Remember in high school, back when we went to school, you had to remember your combination. And when you'd leave Friday and you came back Monday, the first thing that I'd look at my locker is like,
I never had that problem.
Oh, dang it.
I never had that problem.
I better remember the freaking locker. I'm going to be spinning this freaking dial here forever, and I'm going to look like an idiot. But I would always write it down on a notebook that I'd also bring in so I'd be safe. So that was a great job to do that.
Okay. All right, so I've never had that problem, so I don't know.
All right, so Robbie wanted to find a solution without people having to use bolts or cut locks if they forgot their combination. So he decided, after years of fine-tuning his prototype, he decided to unveil it in the world in 2017 as a first-time exhibitor at the big consumer electronics show in America, CES. I go to CES all the time. Well, I didn't last year because CES was all virtual.
Nobody did anything last year.
Correct, but I'm big-time CES.
Last year doesn't count.
I went to the CES before CES, which is called Comdex. So that was a technology trade show in Las Vegas before the Consumer Electronics Show, which stands for CES, was in existence. But I normally go down to CES all the time. And you know what I do? I go to the Eureka area, which is all the startups. And so Robbie should understand this because that's probably where he was stationed at, in the startup groups. And that's where they have all these new concepts and ideas.
You're looking at all the new gizmos.
I am. And that's where you get the creative people. And you know what? I also get a lot of the overseas people. I like going to see them. So he was going, and he showed this product. Robbie, being to CES more than a few times probably, has experienced the pressure of pitching Benjilock. So all of a sudden, he decided to pitch it on Shark Tank. And if you get on Shark Tank, I mean, there's a lot of celebrities there, and you got Cuban that tries to...
Yeah, I've watched it one or two times.
I watched it a bunch of times. So it's a great show to watch. And so he pitched his product. His product was successful. He got a founder that took it over, Kevin O'Leary, which I think is probably the smartest guy on the show. I don't care what Mark Cuban tries to jump in and always try to...
Okay, all right.
He does all this.
This isn't an op-ed, dude. Let's move on.
Okay, all right. I'm just going to say. So I'm glad he took Mr. Wonderful, and everything was successful. So let's get the guests up on the deal now. Thank you guys very much for joining us. Robbie's got his hat on. I got some questions about his... Fedaros.
That's a trilby.
So is it a trilby?
Yes.
So we're going to ask him some questions there. And then we got the individual that helped Robbie become successful, and that is Kim Kelly, because he came in with his company that is based in the United States, based in Orange County, and is an all-American company. So Kevin O'Leary is really big about making sure it's an all-American company. So here's what we got. Robbie, thank you for joining TechTime Radio. Kim Kelly, thank you for joining us. We appreciate you being on the show. You probably saw that we had some bad whiskey. We do a whiskey tasting.
And have you ever had Canadian Miss Whiskey? That's my question.
Mike wants to know if you guys have ever had Canadian Miss Whiskey. That's all he wanted to know, is if you guys have had that. So have you guys had that? We're gonna ask you guys that to lead off our questions before I get into the big interview. Have you ever had Canadian Miss Whiskey?
Is that the hardest question?
No, I got some good questions.
That is the hardest question.
For Mike, it is. Maybe.
No, I'm not. But thanks very much for having us on, and it's great to combine cocktail hour with technology.
So you know what?
Not with Canadian Miss Whiskey.
So
not with Canadian Miss.
So we enjoy it a lot. But thank you very much for being here. So Robbie. So I listened to 7 different YouTube people announce your name. All right. So it's Robbie Cabral. Cabral, he had some guy on that he lost audio, and poor dude, he was like doing this podcast deal, and he lost audio. And
we've had that problem before.
Robbie's
too.
Just looking at him like, dude, are you gonna come back? And he's like, oh, I got my second camera up here. So see, Robbie, I watched all of them to make sure I could have information on you. So, have you ever had Canadian Mist whiskey?
I'll say, first of all, thank you so much for having us. I was just cracking up when you guys were doing the drink and all that, because personally, I have not had Canadian
Mist.
Canadian
Mist whiskey.
So I'll take it from you guys. I won't.
Okay. When I bought it at Wines and More, the gal looked at me. If you didn't see it on the first hour, she said, the bums don't even buy this when they come in the store. I said, well, that'll be great for our show then. Let's buy
thanks
some
for that.
That's right. All right.
But
so
you got the worst end of the stick, I think.
So, Robbie, I've been to CES many times. I'm going to go, it's going to be kind of a pepper of questions. So I got lots of questions for you guys, a lot of technology questions. So I'm going to try to stay away from any questions that you've been asked on any previous interview. So hopefully this is new and fresh for you. But how was it presenting the first time for Benjilock at CES? How did that prep work go into CES? Big consumer electronics show. It comes in the very beginning of January. How did you prep for that? How did you get ready for that so that you could set up your booth at CES in 2017?
Well, I'll say it was an experience. As a first-time exhibitor, I had no idea how I was going to navigate this type of show, because at the end of the day, during that era, it was all about robotics, virtual reality. And in my case, I just have a lock. So what am I going to do to spark Eureka Park, which is very exciting? Like you mentioned earlier, it's all about energy and new innovations. And I thought to myself, I'm going to bring the lifestyle of what I kind of consider that the product could use, and just bring my own energy and just be myself. And it was a lot of hard work. I won't lie to you, because I had no idea where I was actually going to present this product. But after doing a little research, it came to me that CES was the biggest show in America, and a great show to kind of, for new companies to showcase their innovations. And I just went in and just be myself. And I won't lie to you, a lot of people came in and said, good for you, but I don't like your idea. And I said, that's great. I'm here to kind of showcase it and meet new people just like you, because at the end of the day, you just never know who you're going to meet. And I'm glad that I took that leap of faith.
Okay, perfect. Because it is kind of, and so the Eureka Park, it's normally not at the main convention center. So for people that are listening to the radio show, so it's a different hotel. You actually have to go from the main high-end floor with all the ritzy, glitzy people, and you go on over here. But the Eureka Park is by far, and I can't remember what hotel it was in 2017, but I was there, and I actually, Robbie, I actually talked to you. So you will never remember this, but I actually talked to you and came up to your booth when I was there in 2017, and I said, this is a cool idea, and I said, I really like the part that you have a lock physically with the device itself. So not only do you get the Benjilock where you can log in with your fingerprint, and they take up to like 10 fingerprints to open the lock, but it actually had the physical lock aspect, which is completely different than a lot of other technologies that were there. So I actually walked in there and met you. So great. Okay, Kim, question is for you next. Thank you for joining the show. Explain to us what your company, Hampton Products, sells, and tell us all about your American-based company.
In 1990, we purchased a small padlock company in Denver, Colorado called Dale Hampton Lock Company. Dale had invented the world's first truly weatherproof lock that he invented to secure his spare tire underneath his vehicle. He was up in the mountains in Denver, and he had a flat tire, and he couldn't get the lock off because it had rusted shut. So Dale went back to his lab, and like any good 3M sales executive, he invented a lock that we thought was terrific. So we founded the company in 1990, purchased the Dale Hampton Lock Company, and moved it to Orange County. In 2017, we probably just missed you in Eureka Park. It was in the Sands.
Okay, yeah, that was in the Sands. That's what it was.
Yep.
I just wanted to be careful because I didn't want to say it was at
the Sands. Still there, huh?
It's the Sands Convention Center.
The Sands Convention Center.
Yeah, underneath Venetian.
Correct.
And we went down to visit with Robbie, and I frankly wasn't there. We had a number of people in the marketing team who went down and spent some time with Robbie, and they were fascinated. Each of them came up to meet with the rest of the team and said, why didn't we invent this? Robbie's technology was very cool. And over the course of the next 7 or 8 months, we had a number of discussions with Robbie that culminated in our realization that, to your point, Nathan, with Kevin O'Leary on the team, Mr. Wonderful could help us make some magic with this product. So in the week after Thanksgiving in 2017, we went on national TV and launched this exciting product. We make over 500 different kinds of padlocks. We also make about 13,000 different kinds of hardware. I heard an Ace commercial earlier. We make an awful lot of product for Ace and a number of other large retailers in the United States. But our challenge with the Benjilock was taking this pretty big lock that Robbie had invented and making it pretty manageable so that, back to your point about school lockers, it would fit on the school locker. So we miniaturized it, which was pretty tough. And if you'll let me show you one other lock, one of the reasons that I think Robbie and Kevin were interested in Hampton is because we make the Brinks padlocks.
Okay.
And they're not very complicated.
Yep.
You put a key in it, and it unlocks. But I've cut one away so that your audience and you could see the significant complexity that's built into this lock. And so what we were challenged with is putting electronics and a motor and fingerprint sensor and a printed circuit board and some other electronics inside this lock without making it this big again.
Sure.
And we were successful in doing that. And over the course of the interview, I'll show you a couple of other products where we've extended the line. But it's been a real journey with Robbie, and we're really excited to have him as a partner.
So let me ask you, the Brinks lock. We were talking about this ahead of time, so we've done a lot of research on you guys. I'm sure everybody does. But is the Brinks lock, is that the lock that was shown in the A-Team, during the A-Team, when the A-Team was on television? They would always have a commercial, the Brinks lock, and it was the one that, or maybe it's a different lock.
that was a master lock.
Is it a master lock that has shot with a gun? Is that not the Brinks lock, or is that somebody else?
That is somebody else. Okay. And one of the things that we have tried to tackle in the locks is that the problem is probably not that somebody's going to try to blow it open with a 30-06.
Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I don't routinely do that either.
It's probably going to rust. So we've focused on making locks that don't rust and making them corrosion resistant so that they last. Also to make them really secure. And I think all of the reviews that we've seen on the Benjilocks have underscored that we did a pretty good job on that.
They have. All right. Next question, Robbie. I watched all the videos about you, and let me tell you, the Los Angeles KABC news story I think is the best. Let me just, their review of you guys, and both of you guys are on there. I think that was probably the best interview. There's some other interviews. I'm like, oh, poor people. So tell us again, how did you come up with the fingerprint lock, and what YouTube video clicked for you to understand the technology?
You know, that's interesting. So the whole idea, actually, I never really even thought of creating something. So anyone that is probably watching the show or hearing about it, and if you have an idea, I'm a person that I like to tell them go for it, because I never even thought of this. It wasn't even in my heart, in my plethora of things. I mean, literally, I got laid off from work, and because of all that going on, I just one day went to the gym, and I just noticed how the gentleman left the key inside the locker. And then it struck to me that I see that the manager of the LA Fitness coming in and trying to bolt cut it. And then one of the guys in maintenance comes with a drill and try to drill it. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, you know, at the time, I think it was an iPhone 5. And I'm like, wow, you know, right now we're opening our phone with a fingerprint. How come there's just not a lock with a fingerprint, but also with a key? So that way, if the technology fails, you still have a key. And non-connected, no Wi-Fi, no Bluetooth, because if you're in a gym locker or a school locker, sometimes the technology may fail. And that's why I always thought that just keep it simple. And again, I'm unemployed. I don't have that much money in the savings. And I had to kind of figure things out for like 3 years to create this whole prototype. And you know, it actually came out more because before I got laid off from work, at that time I was doing marketing for a real estate company. Before that, I used to work in a headphone company. So dealing with headphones and all that, I kind of understood that headphones require battery, require a lot of QA and all that. So I thought to myself, okay, I come more from a design perspective. So how would this, you know, lock look and feel? And then just keep it simple. I didn't really do YouTube or none of that. It was more kind of in my head. Okay. And then just try to find a product developer. And I knock on a lot of doors and no one wanted to do it because it was more about that if you don't have the money, we're not going to do it. So at least someone say yes. And it was a lot of work with them, but at least it was a working prototype that I was able to showcase at CES.
All right. So my next question here, Kim. Being the founder and CEO of a large American company, who was your role model growing up?
Ooh, my father.
Okay.
My father was actually in the hardware business, so it took me a lot longer to get into that business. But my father was a terrific salesperson, and I really admired the things that he did. I liked his lifestyle, too.
Okay, his father, that's good. Okay, Robbie, last question, and then we're going to go to a break. How did the process for securing additional partnership with Kim Kelly and Hampton Products work and take? So specifically, I'm questioning how many months, how many weeks did your guys' conversations take before you guys decided to become partners?
Well, I think, you know, it's interesting because thanks to the CES show, we kind of met at the show, but, you know, that was kind of it. And for me personally, even to this day, and I'm sorry to say this, but I really don't watch Shark Tank. Like, I've never seen the show even before I went in. So a lot of people came to the booth and said, hey, Robbie, you should pitch that product to the Shark Tank. They're in the Venetian. There's a casting call. It might be a good fit. And personally, I was like, I don't know about the show. I'm interested. I'm working in the booth. I'm not leaving. And after just so many people coming in, I said, okay, you know what? Might as well try it, give it a go. And I'm a believer that you don't put all your eggs in one basket. So I just did that. And when I came back home from the show, the conversations with Hampton were going, but then also the Shark Tank thing just kind of knocked on the door and said, hey, we're interested. And I will say probably it was a process of 6 or 7 months between all these things going around. So, you know, as an entrepreneur, and I'm sure that probably you guys, all of you are entrepreneurs too, that it's kind of like you have to go with your gut and go with the flow of things. So it was probably like a 7 or 8 month process.
It's not immediate. So I always people always think these things happen so quickly, and just because that's what we see on TV, right? So you see this commercial, you see this other news click, and it's like, oh wow, that just happened a couple weeks ago. Boom, boom, and it must be easy to go. So that's great. Okay, well, we're going to take a commercial break because I got sponsors that help fund our show, so we got to make sure we take care of them. But here's my question when we come on back, and I enjoy both of you guys being here, is, Robbie, you chose Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful. After A-Rod spoke to you directly saying he wanted to work with you, I want to know, after this commercial break, why did you choose him? All right, let's take a commercial break. We'll see you guys right after this. Welcome back to TechTime Radio with Nathan Mumm. I'm your host. We're talking to Robbie and Kim. And before the commercial, I asked the question, why did you choose Kevin O'Leary, Mr. Wonderful, over all the other sharks? Robbie, what was your decision on that?
I think one of the things is that when you step into the show, I don't know if people know this, but there's probably like a 15-second gap that you stand up and there's no noise and all the sharks are looking at you. You kind of don't know who's going to be in front of you until you actually step in. So there's a lot of anxiety. And then in that moment, you just don't hear no noise. And after 15 seconds, they say, go and do your pitch. And during that moment, you know, Kevin was looking at me very straightforward, and I was like thinking to myself, wow, this guy's scary. I've never seen the show, and the comments I heard from people were that don't pick him, he's gonna destroy you, blah blah blah, and he's just basically looking at me straightforward. No, oh my God, it was like intense. But the other sharks, though, on another note, they were all on their phones, kind of looking at your brand and your product, doing like a quick research before jumping into the live show. So I felt that he was very straightforward right off the moment. But one of the cool things that he asked me why you brought the guitar to the Shark Tank set. And I told him, well, you know, I used to be a musician before. And when you go on tour, you had your little, small van, and you had to lock your products with a lock on the back. And I thought that the guitar, branded with the Benjilock, I thought it made sense to fit that lifestyle. Lo and behold, Kevin loves playing guitar. So there was a creative side that really connected with me during the show. So I noticed that. And I felt that from the A-Rod standpoint, it was great. I connected because, he speaks my same language and all that. But at the end of the day, I felt that all the sharks were great, but Kevin told me kind of straight up, have you ever thought of licensing? And it wasn't, I thought of it, but I just didn't want it to kind of give the technology to someone else and then your brand name is gone. Because, when probably we met at CES in 2017, everyone that came in said, hey, this is a great product. This could be maybe the next, who knows, Fitbit of locks. And I always thought that, no disrespect to Kim, but I always thought that locks were boring. And I felt that the hardware stores were boring and they needed a little spark. And that's why I kind of created Benjilock, because I felt that it was something new that if my kids can like it, I have 3 kids, so I have my hands full too. But if they liked it, then it was going to go well. And
That makes sense. You know what? And we're from Seattle, so we don't like A-Rod because he left us to go play for the Yankees. So that's fantastic. So let me just tell you. Wow. Not that I hold a grudge still, but
no, not at all.
At least Junior stayed here, and so did Jay Buhner. But no, A-Rod had to go for the money.
Big Griffey fan.
That's right. You're a big Griffey fan? Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
And what I love about you, Robbie, is you always are on interviews with your hat. So, I mean, that you got to keep that, right? Because everybody's got their little shtick. You know, we drink whiskey, and I mispronounce words. So that's my calling. And yours, absolutely, with the hat looks fantastic. So let me tell you. All right, so let's talk about the actual physical device itself. Mike has a question, but I'm going to start out first with Benjilock has received tons of innovation awards. What's one of the most exciting innovation awards that you've received for your lock?
Well, I'll say even before the lock, that people probably don't understand that building a prototype could look easy, but then when you do the whole design for manufacturing, that's why I feel that Hampton was the best thing that happened for me, because if it's not for them, people don't understand the hard work that you have to put to actually go to manufacturing. But I will say probably the biggest award, I mean, it has to be CES. I mean, the first CES award for the product that you go in and you're not really expecting anything. And then you see, you know, like Gary Shapiro, the president of CES, walking by and knowing about you, and then you kind of see that you actually get an award for the smart home area, which in reality for me was more like the gym. But then I did not realize that people were looking at it as, hey, this could be a great lock for my storage at home or for my gate at home. And that's why it's kind of in that category of smart home. And so that was, I will say that's the biggest one, the first one.
Okay. Mike, do you have a question?
Yeah, actually, this is more of a technical question because you brought up the fact that you were at a gym when you figured this out. So, you know, I have a phone and it has a fingerprint unlock button feature. When I exercise, that feature just doesn't work.
Because you sweat.
Because I'm sweating and there's swelling, I'm guessing, in my thumb or whatever. Did you have to take that into account when you were designing this?
I'll leave that to Kim.
Yeah.
There you go, Kim.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, we did. We had three different considerations. One was the sensitivity of the fingerprint sensor. Obviously, the government uses it for admission into different countries when you're coming through ports of entry. And so there are very exacting fingerprint standards that we wanted to incorporate into the lock so that we built in the right kind of security, but we didn't make it so sensitive that Mike couldn't open it after you'd been working out. So if you just wipe your finger quickly, you can pretty easily put it on this. In this case, it's going to be my thumb, but you can pretty easily put it on these locks and they'll open up regardless of the moisture that's on it. The second was that we needed to make sure that we went through penetration testing or pen testing, and that's Nathan, that's in your wheelhouse. Yep. That's what all of the technology companies are looking for. And so we went through extensive technology and penetration testing, and not just physical penetration, like, you know, can I take a screwdriver and drive it through the sensor and get it open? Can I shoot it? Yeah. And you can shoot it. It will go right through it, and this lock won't open. It's a very secure product. And then the third is that we needed to make sure that you didn't push the fingerprint sensor in when you were pushing it too hard to try to get the technology to work. So the technology was tough. We did use American fingerprint technology and worked very hard to calibrate the sensitivity. I think we went through 5 or 6 different iterations with Robbie before we found the perfect mix, and then we were able to launch it. And fingerprint technology has continued to improve. And I'm going to pick up on what Robbie was talking about relative to Mr. Wonderful. We were really excited about his involvement in the project because he is very straightforward. He is all about licensing, and he is all about branding. So we're building the Benjilock by Hampton brand. We're making sure that Benjilock transcends not just the first lock, but all of them. And now we've got a collection of indoor gym lockers. We've got sports locks. We've got TSA locks that you can put on your luggage. We've got bike locks. And of course, now we've got a door lock that operates digitally and with fingerprint technology. So we've been able to extend the brand beyond the original padlock. And that was Robbie and Kevin's original vision. And I'm just thrilled that our team has been a part of that journey.
Perfect.
Thank you so much for joining us for Hour 1 of Tech Time Radio with Nathan Mumm. Up next hour, though, we got some great interviews by James Riddle, some CRISPR technology, our Jurassic Park article. We also have some great information regarding passwordless authentication from Nick Espinoza. We have 3D printing home interview and what are non-fungible tokens and other items that we covered throughout the year. So you're done with Hour 1, but Hour 2 is starting right around the corner. We'll see you right after this long break. Thank you. Have a great day.
Thanks for joining us on Tech Time Radio. We hope that you had a chance to have that moment today in technology. The fun doesn't stop there. We recommend that you go to techtimeradio.com and join our fan list for the most important aspect of staying connected and winning some really great monthly prizes. We also have a few other ways to stay connected, including subscribing to our podcast on any podcast service, from Apple to Google and everything in between. We're also on YouTube, so check us out on youtube.com/techtimeradio, all one word. We hope you enjoyed the show as much as we did making it for you. From all of us at Tech Time Radio, remember, Mumm's the word. Have a safe and fantastic week.